everyone, Sam Ovens here, and welcome to this training module called Organic Attraction Methods. And in this module, I'm basically going to show you what organic attraction methods are and why we use them. And then I'm going to show you 4 specific organic attraction methods that we use to get clients and generate strategy sessions effectively. So in this module, I'm going to run through all of them, explain what they are, how to use them. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet and detailed step-by-step instructions on how to execute them and deploy them yourself. And I'm going to explain the pros and cons of each one and how you can use them all together in one promotional plan. Because you don't just want to do one thing and one thing only when it comes to promotions. You want to try and mix it up a little bit. You want to keep things going consistently. Like you want to constantly be doing new age attraction every day, which I taught you in week 2. You want to be building that momentum, keeping that momentum every day, but then every now and then you want to mix it up by doing something else, because that keeps things fresh, and some different things might engage other people, but that workhorse, that new age attraction workhorse, is just going to be going consistently day after day. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to start off with what organic attraction methods are and why we use them. And then we're going to go over these 4 specific methods. The first one is new age attraction, and we talked about this back in week 2. I had to teach it to you very early on in week 2 because we needed to get some clients before we built the program. And so I'm going to just recap on it here because I want to put it in here again so that it's, the content in this portal is properly organized. But new age attraction is what we covered back in week 2. And that's where you build your network using Facebook and LinkedIn, your own personal profile. You join groups, you search for people, you add them as friends, you connect, you send them messages, and all of that. The second method is the list farming method. And this is when you email your list with content, updates and offers, and your opinion on the market and things like this. Basically, it's a really good method to stay in touch with your prospects and people who are interested but didn't buy. And it's a really good way to just stir the pot and stay at top of mind awareness with them so that, you're constantly in their minds. And, as soon as something changes or they're ready and they become, ready to buy, you're just the first person they're going to buy from because you've kept at top of mind awareness with them. So that's the list farming method. The third one is the live webinar method. And this is when you email your list to register and attend live webinars. And this is a really good method if you already have an existing list to try and get people onto a webinar and try and show them your new offer and generate a windfall of strategy sessions and clients. Very powerful method. And even once you've done that, doing a live webinar once a month is a really good idea. And then the fourth one and the final organic method is the JV webinar method. And this is partnering with a joint venture partner to reach, and it's partnering to reach an influencer's audience via live webinars. So we might partner with someone who has our audience in their audience, and we're not really competitors, but we share the same audience, and we partner with them. They promote us to their list to get their audience onto a webinar. And then when we're both on a webinar together, we deliver our message and then they take a commission. So these are the 4 methods that we use. And there's more than 4 out there. There's infinite methods out there. But what I try to teach you in this program is the most up-to-date and curated and refined methods. These ones work very well, and I see them continuing to work very well into the future. So just having a good mix of these and then some paid methods too, that's all you need to make, 7 figures, even 8 figures. Doesn't need to be more complicated than this. And then finally, we're going to bring it all together and take action. I'm going to explain how all of this stuff comes together and how you can, mix all of these different methods together to create a healthy promotional campaign, and how to implement it and what your action items are right now. So what organic attraction methods are and why we use them. So this is our, very basic, this is our funnel or our client acquisition methodology, right? So we have paid methods, which would be like Facebook ads or YouTube ads or whatever, driving traffic into our value video or our fragmentation funnel, and then they go into a survey, and then they complete the survey, and then we have a strategy session call with them. That's the paid, that's the paid funnel. But organic methods here, these are methods that we use, and they're not paid. They're methods that we execute ourselves. It's like manual labor, and we're implementing it ourselves. And people can go out and go into our funnel and then purchase that way. But what's more likely is that we're going to have individual chats with different people on Facebook or LinkedIn, and then they're going to go into a 15-minute phone chat, and then onto a strategy session, and then we're going to do the strategy session and close them. That's the more likely scenario, but they can also go indirectly and feed into this one too. And most people think that I get all of my clients from paid Facebook ads only, but that's not the case at all. And here's my monthly sales volume by source. So I get about 15% from list farming, that's sending emails to my list. Then about 30% from new age attraction, and this is adding people as friends on Facebook and LinkedIn, sending them messages and advancing the chats that way to get onto a 15-minute chat and all of that. And then live webinars might do 1 or 2 a month, about 15%, and then paid advertising through Facebook ads around 40%. Now, things have changed with my business now because, we're not purely doing strategy sessions, but when I was doing strategy sessions myself and running my business the way you're running your business, this is how the sales volume was each month. So this is the one you want to look at because this is the one you want to model off. And what you'll notice about this is that 60% of my monthly sales volume comes from organic methods, while 40% comes from paid methods. So that's 60% organic, 40% paid. So if I didn't do organic, that's like 60% of sales disappearing, which is not something that you want. So my point I'm trying to drive home here is organic's important. You just can't get by with paid, you need both. So what are organic attraction methods? So they're free, fast, and easy to use methods that we use in order to stimulate our niche and market and identify the 3% of people who are ready to buy now. So, it's a way for us to get our message in front of our market, build connections with them, get our message in front of them, and, get them as clients. It's a good way to really shake the tree and get those low-hanging fruit opportunities out without having to invest money on ads or without having to build, funnels or things like that. It's a great way to start. And the advantage of organic methods is that they're fast to set up and deploy, they're easy to understand, they're low-tech, and they're free or close to free, and they enable you to get moving enable you to get moving quickly so that you can get your first few clients ASAP. And the disadvantage of organic methods is that, while they're fast to deploy, they require manual labor to do consistently, and they become a burden or simply impossible to do with scale. And what I mean by this is that, if we wanted to get to 100 grand a month just using organic, well, we might reach some limits. For example, you can only add so many people as friends on Facebook in a day. We think that limit's about 40, so that's why we say don't do any more than 40. With LinkedIn, it seems to be like 20 to 30. So you have some actual limits there. And then even if you didn't, there's only so many messages and things you can do yourself in a day. So if we could use organic methods, we'd use them forever. And we wouldn't do paid, but they do reach a point where they become, we max them out, we exhaust those methods, and that's when we want to use a combination of paid and organic. So the ideal use case and application for organic methods is that you should use these to get started immediately and land your first few clients, which you should have done back in week 2. And this allows you to iterate and establish your proof of concept as quickly as possible before doing paid ads. You get to test everything and get everything razor sharp and proven. You get proof of concept established back, with these methods, and then you get to take that proof of concept to paid ads and really throw some fuel on the fire and scale that thing up. So now we're going to go into each one of these 4 methods and explain how they work and everything and show you how you can execute them. So the first one is New Age Attraction method. So the new way of doing organic direct outreach is via social media using Facebook and LinkedIn. And to do this, first we set up your Facebook and LinkedIn profiles so that they state what you do, who you help, etc. And we then post some content designed for your niche to show that this is your thing and that you know what you're talking about. And these can be simple posts sharing stories, case studies, your opinions, etc. And once you've set up your profiles, you can find Facebook groups for your niche, join them, and then add people who are a good fit as your personal friend. And once they accept, you can private message them and they can interact with your profile and content. And the beauty of this method is that it has an instant effect as well as a long tail, which is very powerful. And what that means is that the instant effect is that we get to, today, even maybe this hour, and definitely today, we're going to get some attention, we're going to start having some conversations. So it has a very quick effect. But also, people are adding us as friends and they might not message us back or whatever. But as we continue to post content in the future, those people are going to see our posts and they might re-engage with it and then come back into our world and message us and want to buy later. So that's the long tail effect of it. So it's a very powerful method because we get the instant effect and the long-term effect. And this is our New Age organic client attraction process that I've put onto like a process map for you. You should already be very familiar with this because we covered it back in week 2. You should have already done this to get clients. But I'm just quickly recapping on it here again. So the main method is to join Facebook groups where your niche is, observe, find people who are in your niche, add them as friends, personal friends. And then you want to send them, as soon as they accept your friend request, you want to send them a message through the messenger platform. And then you want to advance that message towards a 15-minute chat on the phone, have the 15-minute chat on the phone, and then schedule them in for a strategy session and do the strategy session, right? But what about the people you add as a friend that don't, and then you message them, but they don't engage with you and you don't get them onto a chat or a strategy session? Well, they're going to see your future posts and your profile and all of that, and from there they might re-engage with you and come and message you again and come back out this process. Or they might go to your website and then into your value video in your funnel and then come back in. So that's the direct and that's the indirect, and that's how this works. The other thing we do is we use LinkedIn, so not just Facebook, LinkedIn too. Now LinkedIn, it doesn't have groups, so with LinkedIn we search. We just go to LinkedIn, we search for people in our niche. When we find people who are a good fit, we add them as connections. And then as soon as they accept our connection request, we send them a direct message. And as soon as they reply to that message, we try and advance it to a 15-minute chat and then ultimately a strategy session. Now, if they don't advance through this process directly, well, later on, as we continue to post content, they will see that content and engage with it. Then they might message us and come back into this process. Or they might go to our website and then into our value video and things like that. So there's both a direct path and an indirect path. And there's both an immediate objective and a long-term objective. So it's a very powerful method, this one. And I've color-coded these to categorize them into hunting, advancing, farming, and closing. So hunting are the red things, basically finding people and adding them as friends. Advancing is messaging the people who accept you as friends and trying to get them onto a 15-minute chat and then trying to get them onto a strategy session. And then farming is posting content on your profile and everything to engage and stir the pot with people who are already in your network. And then closing is doing strategy sessions following our alchemic conversion script. And we call these different things, these 4 things, like hunting, farming, advancing, closing, we call these power activities. And when it comes to generating clients organically, the main tasks can be broken into 4 categories. 1, hunting, 2, advancing, 3, farming, 4, closing. And I just explained these before, so there's no need for me to run through them again. But these are the 4 things that really move the needle. And if you really want to make good progress with your consulting business, you want to execute power activities every day. So if you want to get clients, if you want to make money and be successful, that can only come from doing power activities. And the more you do them, the more results you'll get. It's that simple. And to help you execute the 4 power activities daily, you really need to block out 1 to 2 hours daily and then make it a habit. And I recommend blocking it out like first thing in the morning, 2 hours, 7 days a week. And to really show you how to execute this process and everything, I've created a cheat sheet, and it's called number 1, New Age Attraction Method. So to learn about the New Age Attraction Method and get step-by-step instructions on how to deploy it, refer to the cheat sheet here. Now, it's available for download beneath this video in the resources section. And I'm going to pull it up right now. This is what it looks like. So it says, what is it? And explains that. When should we use it? So you want to start by using it to get your first clients. And then you want to continue to use it even when you're doing ads. And it says here, very important, you should never stop using this method. What are its pros and cons? And then what's the process and the workflow? This is the very simple high-level process. And then what resources support this method? And you can see that I've included a download to the New Age Attraction process map and diagram here. So if you click that, you'll go to this here. And also, detailed step-by-step instructions are on the next page. So if you scroll down here, this basically explains the method from a high-level view. And then here we go into the really granular step-by-step action items. So, how to block out 1 to 2 hours a day, when you should do it, what time, how to block it out in your war map, how you're going to be spending your time, exactly step-by-step how to find groups, and then how to add group members as friends, even message templates to send people when they accept your friend requests, the limits of how many you can send a day, how many people will accept your request, and then on LinkedIn, how to search for prospects and add them as contacts, then the message to send to them on LinkedIn when they accept you, and then how to post content on your Facebook profile and your LinkedIn profile. And not only that, I even give you a swipe folder of like 60 plus posts that you can put on your Facebook and LinkedIn. So, this is absolutely everything you need. So we go from we go into the real granular detail where I show you exact posts, the exact message templates and everything. And we've also got the high level, what it is, why we should use it, pros and cons and all of that. So absolutely everything you need here to execute the New Age Attraction Method it's in that cheat sheet available for download in the resources section beneath this video. And as I go through this video, I'm going to go over each one, like each attraction method, and then I'm going to explain it at the high level, and then I'm going to provide you with the cheat sheet so that you can have that handy later on to deploy this method. So don't underestimate the power of New Age attraction. I don't want you to think like, oh, this is just stupid stuff. The real money is going to come from Facebook ads and all of that. It's so important to have a mixture. And here's 2 of my clients that have, done very well. And here's Chris Evans and Taylor Welch. So they started working with me when they were making 20 grand a month. Now they're making 300 grand a month. And I actually got them from adding them as a friend on Facebook and then sending them a direct message on Facebook. They didn't come through a funnel, they didn't come through ads, they didn't come from that stuff. We actually just connected directly. And then Andrew Argue, so he was the first one of my students to get to $1 million a month, 8 figures. He started working with me when he was making 17 grand a month. And how I actually got him as a client was through adding him as a friend on Facebook and direct messaging him on Facebook. No ads, no funnels. That's how that happened. So my point here is that, there's great opportunities out there through New Age Attraction and doing this stuff organically. It's not just ads. So now let's talk about the second method, the live webinar method. So the live webinar method is simply emailing your list or database and inviting them to a live webinar where you share information for 1 to 2 hours and then ask them to schedule a strategy session at the end. And if you have an existing list, this is the best, or this is the lowest hanging fruit opportunity that you have right now, and it's the fastest way to generate some sales quickly. And I highly recommend this if you have a list. If you have a list, I would kick things off with a live webinar. A great way to really drum up some demand. And most people totally underestimate what they already have beneath their nose, and by doing a live webinar to their list, they can generate a windfall of new clients and profits very quickly with little to no effort. And if you don't have a list, well, don't worry, you can use this method later on when you do. Now, how do we deploy the live webinar method? Well, again, I've got a cheat sheet, and it is called number 2, live webinar method. It's available for download beneath this video in the resources section. It's a PDF. And it says, what is it? Well, it's when we send a broadcast to our list or database and invite them to a live webinar. When should we use it? If you have an existing list, it's a great thing to do. Its pros and cons. And then what's the process in the workflow? Well, you want to segment your list and prepare a segment of people ready for an email broadcast. You want to create the slideshow presentation for your webinar and practice going through it at least once. Create the landing page and then connect all the technology up so that everything works properly. Start sending emails to your list 4 days in advance of the webinar, 1 email each day, host the live webinar, and then email people to the recording of the webinar for 4 days after the webinar to keep pushing it, right? And so that's the basic process. And then here's some resources that support this method. So beyond just telling you what to do here, I give you specifics. So we've got a sample webinar recording. If you click here. So here's a webinar that I used for years that generated more than 1,000 strategy sessions and made millions of dollars. Still works to this day. And so you can actually go to this and you can watch this exact, webinar and see exactly how I did it. So you've got the video recording of it. And I've also provided you with the transcript for the webinar so you can see exactly what I say inside here. So, full transcript, word for word, verbatim, you can see what's in it. And I've also given you the webinar slides. So I've provided them as a keynote file, which you can download here. And when you download them, you'll be able to open up these slides and see exactly every single slide that went into this presentation. So here it is. So you know exactly how to do the webinar. I mean, I've really just given you everything here. And more than that, we've even given you webinar landing page templates in the scheduling system. So if you go here to ClickFunnels, to this special deal which we've set up for you here. So if you go here and you click on install your funnels, if you already have an account, you can go yes I do. You can put in your info, and then here you'll see that you can install our funnels directly into your account. We give you the we give you the consulting website to use, which I will have introduced to you back in week 2. The fragmentation funnel, or the VSL funnel, which I introduced to you back in week 2 as well. And then there's the live webinar pages. So if you go and install this template, it'll install right into your ClickFunnels account. And you can also see what this funnel looks like here. So you can see there's a landing page, and then if you register for this, you'll register for the live webinar. You can show up to the live webinar, and then at the end of the webinar, you tell people to go to a page where they can schedule a strategy session with you. And all of that's provided here, absolutely every detail that you need to get yours set up live and working and getting you strategy sessions and clients. So we give you all of that stuff in this cheat sheet called Live Webinar Method. Number 2, Live Webinar Method. It's available for download beneath this video in the resources section. And again, we've given you the full process and workflow, as well as every single resource you need. And beyond that, I've even given you webinar invite emails. So you can see, how do you invite people to your webinar? Well, here's some examples, like this one here. Subject line, my lawyer called, I went bankrupt. Sam, you've gone bankrupt, right? These are different samples of how to invite people to a webinar. So this could be day 1, email 1, then day 2, email 2, day 3, email 3, then day 4, email 4, and then day 5, email 5, right? So I've given you everything you need. I mean, there's no stone left unturned here. And I've even created an instructional video showing you how to set everything up. So this is like almost an hour long, and I show you step by step how to set up the landing pages, how to link it to GoToWebinar, how to do everything. So everything that you need. And then I've also linked back to this module, week 4 organic attraction methods, so that this here is everything that you need to know on one page to execute the live webinar method. So, like I said, this module video is just going to explain like the high level, the big picture, and then the specific cheat sheets drill down into the details. So if you're going to execute a live webinar right away, well, you can download this cheat sheet and get into it and get it done. But if you don't have a list built up right now and you want to come back and do this later, well, you don't have to go through this whole video again. I've introduced it to you, so you can just go straight to that cheat sheet, download it, and then get into the action items and get it done. So now let's talk about the third attraction method, the list farming method. So the list farming method is when we send email broadcasts to our list and share useful content, offers to schedule a strategy session, and business updates, our opinions on the market, and success stories, client results, etc. And if you have an existing email list, this is an awesome way to start drumming up some demand for your new program. And you should send out some updates, tips and tricks, and then do a live webinar to get some strategy session calls. So if you haven't sent an email to your list in a long time, what's a long time? Probably like a month, right? If you haven't sent anything to your list in more than a month, then I'd probably start with the list farming method first, just to kind of warm everyone up, just to remind them that you're still alive, and also to tell them what you're doing and all of this. It's a nice way to warm up the list and get people receptive to you and get you back into their minds, get you back into their awareness. And then after that, after the list farming method, you can come in with a heavy hitting method like the live webinar method, get them onto that, and then make your presentation, bam, get them onto a strategy session, bam, sold, right? But that's a good way to do it, but also you should constantly be using the list farming method every week. And that's why the next point here is commit to a schedule. So as soon as your email list gets to 100 people, it's 100 leads, that's going to happen real fast for you guys. It's probably already happened to like 99% of you. So as soon as that happens, you want to commit to emailing your list with useful content at least once per week or more. And this is a great way to stir the pot and really brew up a storm. And if you don't have a list, then don't worry. You can use this method later as soon as you have 100 leads. So again, to show you how to do this, how to do the list farming method in detail, I've included a cheat sheet, number 3, list farming method, available for download in the resources section beneath this video. Let's pull it up. So, this is what it looks like. What is it? when we send broadcasts to our list? When do we use it? If we already have a database, what are its pros and cons? Then what's the process in the workflow? Well, we want to create a mailing schedule. You want to create a mailing schedule that you plan to stick to. For example, it might be to send an email every single week on Thursdays, right? And then you want to segment your list and database and prepare a segment of people ready for an email broadcast. Why do we segment? Well, we might not want to email absolutely everyone. We might want to exclude customers, or we might want to include customers, right? Segments are done to tailor the message to a specific group of the audience. But typically what we do when we send out list farming stuff is it's pretty much going to everybody. Like we might send out an email update saying and informing everyone that a student got to 8 figures. Right, I'm pretty sure, no, I actually sent that out yesterday. That was the message I sent out. It's when Lathan Fritz, one of our students, got to 8 figures. He posted in the Facebook group, I saw that, took a screenshot of it, and then sent out an email saying, that another one of our members got there. So it's a really good way to share the news and keep the community and keep your list up to date. And that one went out to both customers and leads. And then once you've done the segment, then you want to decide what message you're going to send your list. And some examples are, it could be an offer. It could be an offer to just schedule a strategy session right away. Or it might be some news. Maybe you've changed some things in your company or whatever, or maybe your students have had some results. Maybe there's a new case study. Maybe the technology's changed. Maybe something's changed. You're just sharing your opinion. Maybe it's an update or whatever. And I've actually included some sample email broadcasts from me personally down here so that you've got specific examples, so there's no way you can get stuck. Once you've decided on the message you're going to send, you want to design the email message and subject line and add links if there's any, and then always send a test email to yourself first. Check that it works. Check that there's no obvious spelling errors and things like that, and most importantly, check that the link works. And if it works, awesome, you can send the email broadcast out to your list, and you always want to wait at least 48 hours before checking the report to see how many people opened, clicked, and all of that. And the best practice for list farming is to commit to a regular mailing schedule for best results. And I recommend at least once a week. So choose your day when you're going to do it and what time you're going to do it and stick to that. Now, what resources support this method? Well, you're going to need a CRM and an email marketing software. And I recommend ActiveCampaign, which you can get here at this link. Another one you can use is Infusionsoft, which I'm going to be introducing you to next week. But ActiveCampaign's the best one to start with if you don't have one yet. If you're already using Infusionsoft, stick with that. But if you're just getting started, ActiveCampaign's a much more simple and easy to use one. And then here's the sample email broadcasts that I have sent. And you can see here, big news, my new process revealed, exactly where the links were and everything. And here's another one, focus on what won't change, right? So some of these are content related that go to content. Some of these are just updates, or some of them are, things going directly to webinars. But there's a really good, there's like at least 10 to 15 different messages here. So plenty of things for you to, get inspiration and ideas from. And another tip to really get ideas about what to mail, join other people's lists in your niche and then save their emails to a swipe folder in Gmail. So you want to get on other people's lists. Who's the big influencers in your niche? Find them, get on their lists. Then whenever they send you an email, just save it to a folder in your Gmail called Swipes. And then whenever you need to go and look for ideas or inspiration, you can just look into the Swipes folder and see, and then you can start looking at that. You can look at my previous ones, which I've given you here. And before you know it, boom, some ideas have come to mind and you know what to do. Not all of them have to be pushing towards a strategy session or a sale. It's actually best to mix it up. You don't always want to be going, book a strategy session, book a strategy session, book a strategy session. Sometimes you just want to give people an update and there's no link. Or other times you might want to Tell people to go and look at this new video. Or maybe you did an interview with one of your students or whatever, right? You can send them to that. Or sometimes you might just have a photo in the email. And then other times you might be asking them to come to a webinar or to book a strategy session. Just mix it up. That's the key. Keep it mixed. So that is called number 3, the list farming method. Highly recommend to do it at least once a week. Now let's go to the 4th method, the JV webinar method. So the JV webinar method is a joint venture webinar with somebody in your marketplace who serves your ideal client in a non-competitive way. So what I mean by this is somebody else who's in your market that isn't your direct competitor. So for example, if you're helping accountants get clients, and you probably wouldn't want to partner with somebody else who's helping accountants get clients by doing the same thing, because that's pretty much directly competitive, and you'd wonder, why aren't we just selling, why aren't you just selling your thing and why aren't I just selling my thing, right? But it's more like if somebody has a software company that helps accountants and they want their accountants to do better, then bringing you in, if you help them with sales and marketing, then that's a good fit, right? And I've got a specific example here. You're selling accountant training services and you partner with a software company. You serve the same people and can help each other while not competing with core business offers. Perfect example of a good JV. And you don't want to try this strategy until you have a proven track record, because most JVs won't trust you until you can show proof and client results. And maintaining reputation and delivering value is of more importance than money. And this is the thing people forget about when it comes to setting up JVs. So a lot of people think that JVs, it's just all about money or whatever. No, because it's mostly about, the reputation. For example, if someone comes to me and they're like, Sam, can you push my offer to your people? And they don't have a really good track record, I'd be like, no, why would I take that risk? What if you end up burning them all and then they all hate me because of it, right? So a JV takes some risk when they endorse somebody else. And they're typically not going to want to take that risk until they see you as pretty trustworthy and very unlikely to screw their list over or provide, a bad experience. So it's best to focus on getting clients through organic methods and then paid methods and doing your own stuff first. Build up some case studies, build a name for yourself, get proven track record, and once you've got that, then go and reach out to different JV partners and start setting that stuff up. And if you already have your reputation established, awesome. The JV webinar method is seriously powerful and you should use it. There's no reason why you shouldn't deploy it right away. So, to learn more about the JV webinar method and to get step-by-step instructions on how to deploy it, you want to refer to the cheat sheet number 4 JV webinar method. It's available for download in the resources section beneath this video. Simple PDF cheat sheet. It explains everything on one page. What is it? When should we use it? What are its pros and cons? So its pros are that we get to leverage somebody else's name, authority, and list, and it's very effective, and we get fast results, and we get, hot leads. So we get to leverage somebody else's name. You know how long it takes for somebody to build up a lot of a reputation and a lot of fame? It takes sometimes a lifetime, right? And just by doing a JV, we can leverage off that, and we can use theirs. So it's very powerful. But the cons, the disadvantages, well, you must have a reputation and track record, which rules it out for a lot of people. So what does the process and the workflow look like? Well, you want to look for potential JV partners who serve your clients in a non-competitive way. And you want to start making a list of them. Try to come up with like a Dream 100 or Dream 50. And then you want to find their email address or their Facebook, which is very easy to do these days. And then you want to message them directly. Well, you probably want to add them as a friend first. Wait till they accept. Then message them directly, floating the idea of a JV promotion. And you don't want to start conversations around money. Maintaining trust and delivering value before money are the most important things. So, don't just say, hey, I've got this course and it can make you a lot of money, da da da. You want to just start the relationship as you would like a friendly relationship. And then you want to make sure that you've built trust and then show them that your program and what you offer really delivers. And then you want to agree on a pricing model or revenue split that works for you. So for example, you could pay $200 a lead or $1,000 a customer. So if I was to do a JV webinar for strategy sessions, we could pay $200 per survey from the JV webinar. So if people completed a survey scheduled a strategy session, I'd be happy to pay them $200 per strategy session. Otherwise, I'd be happy to pay them $1,000 a customer. And you can negotiate with them on this and come to an agreement that makes sense for both of you. But you might think, well, wow, why would we give these people money? Well, because if we do paid advertising, we're going to have to pay costs like this anyway. And so it's pretty good, because with paid ads, sometimes we have to pay money even if we don't get a customer. But with JVs, a lot of the time, you're only paying when you get a customer, so that means you only incur an expense when you incur some winnings, which means that it's geared in a way where you really can't lose. And once you've got all of those details ironed out and everyone's happy, then you want to schedule a time to do a live webinar. And then, once the time's locked in, the partner will introduce you at the start of the webinar, and then you'll do the webinar. And the webinar follows the same principles as the list farming webinar, or the live webinar, and the call to action is to schedule a call. So, that is this webinar which I shared with you. Oh, it's available here. So, sample webinar recording, it's available here. The same one we use for the live webinar is the same sort of style and format that we would use for a JV webinar. We might just adjust the start so that it's got, the cover slide has a photo of the JV partner with us, and the JV partner would probably intro us at the beginning. And I've given you the transcript for the webinar here, the keynote slides so that you can see how I've built the webinar, and if you need to use PowerPoint, we've got that too. Then the webinar landing page templates and scheduling system, given you ClickFunnels templates that you can download right to your account right here. Webinar invite emails are available here. So here I've given you real JV webinar invite emails that I did with a JV with Ty Lopez. So here you can see invite email number 1 from Ty Lopez, and it was called Anatomy of a $356,000 per month consulting business. And here's all of this. Then there was the second email Ty sent out, then the third email Ty sent, the fourth email, and so on. So these are real life JV. I did a real life JV webinar with Ty. It's made millions of dollars, more than $6 million. And these are the exact emails that we sent. So, how many of them in total? I think there's at least 5 or 6. Well, there's 5 or 6, I think. So absolutely everything that you need to do this. And I've also given you instructional video on how to set everything up. So step by step, how to link this thing to that thing, integrate, GoToWebinar with ClickFunnels, like all the things you need to know are in this video. And again, I've referenced it back to week 4 organic attraction methods. So that is the 4th method, the JV webinar method. Now what I want you to do is to download these different cheat sheets here. You can see there's 1, New Age Attraction, 2, Live Webinar, 3, List Farming, and 4, JV Webinar Method. Right? In this video here, I'm giving you kind of the high-level overview, the big picture view, and explaining what these different things are and how they work. But as you go to execute these, you'll be using the cheat sheets to drill down into the details and do the nitty-gritty stuff. So now we've covered all those methods, let's bring it all together. So we looked at 4 different organic client attraction methods. And we looked at how they work and their instructions and templates and all of that stuff. So the first one we covered was the New Age Attraction method. That's where we use your personal Facebook profile and your personal LinkedIn profile to build your network, send direct messages and all of that. Get 15-minute chats, then get strategy sessions. Very powerful. We never, ever, ever stop using this. Then number 2 was the live webinar method. That's when we send an email to our list, get them onto a webinar, we promote the live webinar, then we pitch them the webinar for 1 to 2 hours, and then we get them to schedule a strategy session with us. A great way to get things rolling if you already have a list. Then number 3, the list farming method. That's sending updates and news and success stories and offers out to your list. Very powerful. You want to keep doing this all the time. You know, you want 2 things that you're never going to stop doing is New Age attraction. Every day you're going to be doing this. And then at least once a week, you're going to be sending an email to your list. So this will be happening on a weekly schedule. This will be happening on a daily schedule. Then maybe once a month, you might do a live webinar. And you can do up to like 2 a month. 1 every 2 weeks can work well. And then once every month or 2 months or whatever, you might do a JV webinar. It's when you find different JV partners. And so the number 1 and number 3 you'll be using consistently on a weekly basis. And 1, 2, and 3 you'll be using on a monthly basis. And maybe on a monthly or quarterly basis you'll be using 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together. So that's why I covered these. They're things that I still use myself to this day. They're very simple, they're very reliable. You know, this is like the meat and potatoes of doing organic client attraction. And these, I can't see these going anywhere in the near future, and they're very powerful methods to deploy. Now, let's talk about your action items. So, number 1, you want to continue New Age attraction daily. So you should already be executing New Age attraction on a consistent daily basis, and you should never stop doing this. And you're never going to stop doing this ever. You want to keep building the momentum daily. And if you have an email list, consider kicking things off with a bang using the live webinar method. And if you have an email list, set a mailing schedule of at least 1 email per week and stick to it every week so that you can start stirring that pot up and you can start, really warming your market up and getting at that top of mind awareness level with your market. And if you already have warmed up JV partners, if you already have an established reputation, well, consider setting up a live JV webinar to schedule your first batch of strategy sessions. So those are your action items today. So that pretty much summarizes it for this video today. I just wanted to explain our different organic attraction methods, provide you with the step-by-step details, and tell you how really we use a perfect storm of all of these together to get the best results. So that's it for this module. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one right now, which is number 3, paid attraction methods, where I'm going to show you exactly how we get clients with paid Facebook ads and 3 proven funnels. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.